Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Look at that, Milan.
Miss Walsh.
I said to you, I want us to come in a Monday's pod with lots of questions we're asking ourselves and questions that we have for each other, but I think the whole pod's just going to be questions from our Discorders anyway, no matter what we do.
Not going to, I thought we were going to do that though. What happened?
We're going to answer every question that we possibly can stomach, I think.
I mean, I'm terrified for this one today. Because it's every pod that we do is one pod closer to the deadline dropping. I'm just so concerned that I'm going to be horrible again at this game.
Preseason pods 1 through 3, pure fun.
Yeah, this one not fun.
This one awful. I feel
next
terrible.
One,
I feel
they get worse.
Yeah, I guess they just get worse every episode. That's so horrible. So it's okay. This is the last one we're doing. Free public one we're doing before Game Week 1. We're doing one on Thursday called Friday My Life. That's the Patreon episode. Is that one going to be? Is that going to be just peak horrible? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's going to be the worst one of the year.
Worst part of the year.
Yeah, but
because we're just going to be disasters.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably have to take a diarrhea break or something. I don't know.
Oh my god, we're going to get the bends just from that one episode.
But so also, obviously we're getting some new signups because the season's starting. But every year, or this year, upcoming, we do our normal pod is now, and that's released to everyone. But then we do a podcast on Thursday night, usually with about a day before the deadline, where we just do, it's. I'm not doing a good job right now.
No, I mean, you described it. Yeah, Thursday night. I would say it's usually out around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. New York time on Friday. So Friday morning for UK listeners and, easily before the deadline. And that's just more of the upcoming game week, less review, more like what moves we're going to make. And there's also, Europa League news, Champions League news, stuff like that, injury news, pressers. So it's just a little more up to date.
Yeah. So if you check us out, then you get that. And that's a good job for everyone.
There we go.
Okay.
So we got a million questions. I've just been ignoring everyone in Discord's questions for pods 1 through 3 of preseason, and now everyone's just unloading. Yeah, they've no fapped, and now they're all fapping. So,
well, why don't we do us first, and then use that as to fill in the blanks?
You want to just talk about our teams first?
No. We have questions for each other. I thought.
I don't have many. I want you to start. Hit me up. What are you thinking? What are we talking about?
I'm happy to start with the back. I'm starting to be completely terrified from the Bachmann. The Bachmann are. I don't know. I mean, Watford have been kind of messy, sloppy in preseason, playing trialists, a lot of trialists, which has not made me very happy.
Not good.
And I don't know. I'm just concerned that they're going to be a disaster. We played them in preseason last week. We bossed the game to fuck. And
it was a 2-0 or something, right?
It was 3-1, I think. But it was just complete cruise control for us. And I don't know. Are you, I mean, I know we were on Bachmann last time we potted, but are you getting a little bit nervous there? Or are you still holding on the Bachmann train?
I'm on Sanchez.
You cowarded to the Sanch, to Bobby Sanch. All right, talk me through that one, because I only a couple clicks away from getting that.
That's the danger right there. That's how close we are to any move is the true danger. I don't know. The thing that I came around on was I just want to build. Okay, how do I word this, dude?
Start from the beginning.
No, I got to start from the beginning and then get to the next. I just got to go word by word. It's like walking. I understand. So I was struggling earlier in preseason with do I try and build this long-term team of guys that I think I can hold for very long and they're going to be good value over a long period, or do I build really short-term, probably going to wildcard early anyway, just try and rack up as many points? And I think it's a little bit of both, but leaning more on the short-term side.
Okay.
Because I think that early we just don't know a lot. There's also a lot of teams, coming back late, players coming back late, new teammates, new managers, all that shit. One of the things that we do pretty much know, I would say, is like Brighton have incredible fixtures, and all their players are training, and Dunk's fit, and Webster's fit, and Veltman's fit, and March is back, and all that shit. And I'm just like, I'd rather bet on the Brighton first 4 through 6-ish, and then if it works out, I keep him. That's possible, but most likely I'll be wildcarding within the first 2 months, and I'd rather bet on that and then get on Bachmann, or then get on someone else, or Meslier, or whoever, than just be like, maybe it's Bachmann, like lottery, like throw this at the fucking dartboard. Maybe he's the guy this year, where I feel a lot more safe just being like, yeah, I mean, they have every game is a clean sheet for them for the first 8 weeks.
Yeah, home Leicester probably not as much, but yeah,
home Leicester's
more or
not
less
great, but then Palace, Arsenal, Norwich after that, and it's just
Palace also a horrible fixture.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, self-proclaimed though from you is don't want the 2 or 6. He's a 2 or 6.
Yeah,
you're okay. See how it goes.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. A lot of my changes have been more towards just I'm going to build a short-term team that might be able to transition into a long-term team, or might just get wild-carded out of, I think. If you were to choose between, would you rather start fast and have to transfer in some of the bandwagon guys, or start slow, but I don't even know what the alternative, have some of the longer term guys? Everyone would choose to start fast, right?
Because, yeah, but you're not going to be able to start fast if you don't start with the bandwagon guys, right?
I guess. I mean, if he gets 3 cleans in the first 5 or 6, then that's starting pretty fast.
I mean, we're talking about a single human versus that as a concept, but okay. So Sanchez obviously has a few good fixtures. Doesn't make a lot of saves. Yeah, you got Webster and Dwonk back. So they look. They look like, even though they didn't have a lot of reps in preseason together, they had 1 game. Yeah, they do look healthy-ish. I mean, obviously a couple of defensive injuries, but yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that, and
I'm doubled up.
You're doubled up,
Veltman and Sanchez, because I'm just it's ridiculous. It's a
ridiculous thing. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Tell me about more of the ridiculousness of Brighton Hove Albion, the Seagulls.
They're good. Potter is people are all sorts on Potter and how to evaluate him, but I think he's good. Yep. I think the numbers support my argument.
The underlyings have been good.
Always good. Mm-hmm. And so I expect them to keep getting better and doing good things. The XG and all that shit, nightmare. I don't really care. I'm backing their defense. I'm not going Neil out the gate, I don't need to worry about that.
Crazy. Okay.
So I'm just let me just get some short-term cleans. Both of them are 4 or 5.
God. Okay.
Fine today. That's
I've had Bachmann for so long.
I know.
Well, the one other X factor that we obviously Towers couldn't possibly be bothered to add players to the game, but Frederick Woodman is still not added. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to control myself there.
That's a Thursday. That's a Thursday disaster for you.
That's a problem for me on Thursday.
That's a big problem for you. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm obsessed with him, obviously. Been obsessed with him for years. Fucking watch him in I checked Swansea box scores over the last couple of years to see if he kept clean sheets. I love Fred. I love Fred.
How many saves was he getting? How many pass completion bonuses was he getting? We need to track that shit. But so that kind of leads into my main question / one of my only questions is just what do you think about building for that early wild card? What do you think about people who are building for a wild card game week 3 or right after the international or during the international break wild card for game week 4? Because I think that's popular.
Yeah, I mean, I still usually see that every year as what does the other team look like that you're not doing that for? Because I don't really understand. To me, it's more okay, there's a few players that you can't get yet, like Lukaku or Kevin or whatever, who are injured or not here.
Right.
But you still if you just make a good team, then you might not need to wildcard. Like you don't need to get, Greenwood, Jota, and, Gundo, who are all going to be, players that you don't want when it's game week 7.
Yeah.
But you could also just build a regular normal person team and, use a couple transfers to get those guys. So I just don't really get, dead ending yourself or if it's like, double or triple exposing yourself to clean sheets for a couple game weeks with players like that. Or like, I don't know. I just don't generally like that strategy.
Yeah. Traditionally, we always used to hold the wild card as long as possible when we used to not be horrible at this game.
Yeah.
So there's like a part of me that's thinking, that's why I'm kind of an in-between, because I'm like, yeah, I want a good start. I want to target some early fixtures, and maybe then I'll get, an Ings later, or maybe then I'll get a United guy later when they're more settled, whatever. But I don't really want I don't want to be like, my team sucks and I have to wildcard game week 4 no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I think no one really wants that, even though some people definitely do look at those first 2, for example, or 3 with the international break. And, we do obviously have like some fixture swings. Fixture swings happen every few game weeks throughout the whole course of the season, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just feel like you don't really need to do that. You get Mo and Bruno and you just build a good team, and then, you're fine. You don't have to do like extra shit to do, to do an early wild card. You could just, build a good team for the medium term. I think it'd be that much different than the short term team. So
good stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's next?
Well, I think Liverpool is an obvious place to talk about with the Robbo injury, even though we don't have, definitive timeline. It's, allegedly like weeks and not months, even though, I'm sure it'll be at least bad. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be at least a month. I mean, it's not like he's going to just come straight back into his, in 3 weeks, like as he starts right after the international break. But I mean, Tsimikas, the Greek, they mispriced him. He should not be a 4. I had no idea it was 4 until like Robbo got injured, because you look at these kind of backups. I mean,
I think they did it because he wasn't the backup last season. Like he wasn't.
Well, he
ready,
was hurt all year,
and he just wasn't like ready. He didn't play at all. Milner played left back at any opportunity. Sim would just like not even be in the squad.
I mean, he was injured like all year last year.
Yeah, I mean, he was fit at some points, and he just wasn't even in the squad.
Yeah, either way, I mean, when you look at, a team like Newcastle and literally their like 6th center back is 4 or 5, it's ridiculous that, any back, it doesn't matter. He's 4 million. Robbo's out for a little bit. We see one thing, like, talking about the preseason schedule with Watford, like they're playing all these trialists, which is perverse. Liverpool's preseason has been insane. They've played like 7 games in the last like 5 weeks, and like everyone's fit.
Yep.
Everyone's there except for, maybe like Hendo, Fabinho is a little late, but generally speaking, they're in like really good nick, going into game week 1. So, they have Norwich and Burnley coming up. So 3 Liverpool seems like sort of automatic.
Yeah.
Which 3, we're looking at Jota, we saw Bob today get a brace and by all accounts play really well against Sassuolo or whoever you guys played to. I think Sassuolo, right? Something like that.
Osasuna.
Yeah. So what are you looking at for Liverpool?
Yeah, let me read the questions because it's basically everything you said anyway. Rory, Timmy versus Jota, 1v1 for the 3rd spot. Who wins? Haim said Mo, Mane, Jota, Trent, Simi. What's the triple up? Dragon Breaker asking about Mane. And Pocono asking, what do you think about Jota for the first 3 weeks? Bob probably not going to be fit, should start, blah, blah, blah. For the majority of the last like week and a half, I'd say I've been Trent, Jota, Mo.
Yeah.
Just thinking with Jota, like I feel like he's for sure gonna start Norwich. Not nailed. He's never nailed. He never will be. But probably gonna start Norwich. Bob just played his like first preseason game. Maybe he starts Burnley and then probably bench against Chelsea. So it's like 1.5 games maybe. But I really want Mane, to be honest.
Tsimikas, he's been ripping up trees in preseason.
He looks like it's the longest break he's ever had, and he just looks like Mane from 2 years ago and 3 years ago when he was just insane. And it's like it's one of those short-term-ish type of things where I'm just like, who's good right now? Like, who's good to go right now? Who's fit? Who's the team that's played together? Blah, 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 you know? And that's, like you said, it's just Liverpool has all of those things. Like, it's their main 11. Everyone's there except Robbo now.
So you want to wedge him in with Mo?
I've been trying and being able to do it with, like, Mo, Mane, Bruno. And then I'm,
thin everywhere
budget.
Else. Yeah.
I mean, Trent,
Tony, 4 or 5 defenders, etc.
Yeah, cheap elsewhere. Yeah.
6-5 midfielders. Yeah, I mean,
the thing with Tsimikas is it's just so short term. It's twofold. He has high upside in the games he starts. Maybe he starts the first 2 game weeks. He could not start either. Also, Milner's there. He's the trusted guy. Like, I don't think there's any way Tsimikas starts Chelsea. So that will be Milner. Probably not Robbo yet. So we're talking about 2 games max if Robbo actually comes back after the international break, which is like the current projection. Maybe 3 games if he plays Leeds. I don't know. Like clean sheets, I feel like in general are hard to come by at the beginning of the season. Like everyone's fit, but still all 4 center backs have Konate's new, Matip, Joe.
Koyate.
Yeah, I'm just Palace Ultra. Yeah.
Living in rent-free over there.
But Matip, Joe, and VVD are all still off major injuries. They're not 100%. I don't expect Liverpool to just be like cleaning everyone from the get-go. So I don't know. I just don't know. I don't personally like the Tsimikas. But if you're in one of those teams that's like, I'm definitely wildcard in game week 3, then definite, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'm so far away from where you're coming on the Tsimikas. I think it's like the cheat code kind of thing here.
Okay.
I mean, he's like taking set pieces. He's by all accounts just should slot in. I don't know. I mean, Milner like hated playing left back like 3 years ago. I don't think that against Norwich, Burnley, maybe Chelsea he plays. I don't think he will. I think
Milner will against Chelsea. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Tsimikas is just going to play well. I mean, he's finally fit. They didn't buy him for like 1 mil. Like he was like a 14 mil purchase. Like he's a real thing. And I feel like he's just going to step right in and, offer the, not exactly the same as Robbo. He's like the best left back in the world, but you saw the assist he put on the plate today. I mean, that's not something that, run of your mill left backs can do. Like they usually will not even get that into the box. Yeah. Norwich, Burnley, I totally agree with you that clean sheets are hard to come by, but I also am totally not in the same mindset of Robbo's going to be back after the international break. I mean, he's walking around with a boot today.
It could be a lie. It could be a total lie.
We see him in a boot today, and they're going to rush him back to play like on September 12th when, I think they're going to have a pretty reasonable backup with this left back Tsimikas playing for him. I just don't imagine that that's going to happen. I think he's going to, need a couple of weeks of training or a week of training. He's not going to get rushed back. I just don't think that's going to happen given that he plays, 4,500 minutes every year for the last 4. Yeah. He's an important piece. You're not going to win the league in September, but you could lose it. And so I just feel like when you got the 4 million player on Liverpool defense, being able to kind of skimp and then put money elsewhere just makes a lot of sense. And
so you're going Trent, Timmy, Mo.
Yeah. And I agree I was on Jota all week. A week. I've been like very much talking myself into Jota. I mean, obviously the Bob showing today definitely also like turned my head a little bit wait a minute. Maybe he's not going to kind of lie down and just, this is going to be his last year at Liverpool and he's going to play half the games. Like he's a real player still maybe. Yeah. And, I feel like, Jota's, certainly expect him to start Norwich. Burnley is, I guess iffy because, if we're going to see Bob starting Chelsea, he maybe wants him to play more than 30 minutes. So maybe it's, maybe it's a half and half or something like that. But it's just really sketchy. So, and if that's the case, I can see other 7-5 midfielders around the game that I could buy instead of Jota. I don't see other, 4 million Liverpool defenders elsewhere in the game that I could buy. I mean, Veltman or, if like talking about Ben White or whatever, but these are players on mid-table-ish teams who are just kind of bad. I mean, Liverpool are...
Or in White's the Arsenal fixtures are so bad. I keep telling people I'm like not happy with the white pick at the gate. I'm just like, you're not starting him in like half these games. But
so anyway. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like the Tsimikas is a pretty good, obvious, like decent ceiling thing. And Jota could bang a brace in Norwich and just, you're laughing if you do that. But I think the other issue is that, Mane is fucking $1 billion. So unless if you can really okay to do Mo Mane, it's not like there are all these other fantastic Liverpool picks. Like VVD's not nailed. There's the other center back we don't know.
None of the center backs are options.
Yeah, the forward's not nailed. None of the midfielders are picked. So, there aren't a lot of really good picks on Liverpool, but we want 3,
Yeah, I know. So it's weird.
It's like 3 from 5. It's like really, it's 3 from 5. It's Jota, it's all the midfielders, Trent, Tsimikas,
Yeah.
I just think the 4 million, playing around with that it does a lot. It opens a lot of things.
Yeah, and the thing that you said with like if Jota bags a brace versus Norwich, I expect him to, that's the temptation. It's like him starting up top in the middle, Liverpool against Norwich. I'm like, they could score 4,
absolutely. And if that happens, and if you're looking at Tsimikas as more of like a 3 or 4 game weeks before Robbo comes back, if that's how you're seeing it, then you have to take pause. I think that's a bigger question because, getting 15 or 14 points from Jota game week 1 is probably more than Tsimikas going to get in the first 2 combined. So,
right. And you still, what do you think about Mane?
I think he's amazing. I think he's an amazing pick. He looks incredible, and Trent's doing all the things. I'm a little bit concerned because a lot of his overlapping with Robbo is like so good on the left that I don't know if that's going to augment a little bit how they play if they go more down the middle or the right or whatever. But I just still think that Mo looks incredible, even though he's not really scoring or getting points, and we know what Mo does. And Mane's, I don't know. I just still prefer Mo.
Yeah,
and
sure.
so I think affording both of them and not going for Bruno is just really risky because, they could just be like it could just be 2-0 Norwich, like a walk in the park. And, you put absolutely. 24 mil in those 2 midfielders and you're looking at your team like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
A little bit, which is what happened to me last year, right? I had both of them for a while and it was really, really bad.
I've switched so many times between like one team being like Jota Mahrez and the other team wedging Mane in and having like an extra defender starting or something like that. Because I'm like the short term sexy not nailed guys. Oh my god, insane upside. Against who they have early, and then I'm trying to be like but I don't want a team that's just garbage 3 weeks from now with 2 not nailed players and like blah blah blah. So.
Yeah,
that's a big one for everyone, I think. But so we're pretty different on those. But there's still, as we said before we started recording, it's only Monday. Yeah,
and I do expect to have more definitive information about Robbo. Basically, people are just like reading between the lines from his like Twitter post or whatever he said of like, hey guys, like it's not that bad, but it's like, okay, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be out for 6 weeks, his ankle bent the opposite way.
Something, but it was pretty vague. They always vague. Keep it vague. So
it's also like Justin Pereira last year, where like, he's coming back soon. But that's what this is. It's like he's not fit, and we do get a transfer every week. So what if he has a setback in 3 weeks and he's out until November? And
Tsimikas just starts 12 games.
Which is that's a real possibility. He's 4 million. So I'd rather go in there on the ground floor and we get transfers, right? And if he's a dud in game week 3, it's again with Liverpool, it's not like I'm like, holy shit, I don't have a third Liverpool spot for like this other third guy who I really want. Like there is no third guy really. Everyone else is a little bit risky except for really Robbo, I would suppose.
Well, and Mane, but he's so expensive.
Yeah, but he's so expensive. So, I don't even think it's going to be that bad if you do have to, bury Tsimikas, maybe be third on your bench for a couple of weeks or whatever. That's kind of where I'm looking at it.
You're talking me into it, dude, but you could sell a fucking ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, so... here we are.
Oh my god!
There's all these potential 4-0 guys also. So
well, he's not my only one, so we don't have to stop.
Oh my god!
It's perversity time.
Did you see my graph?
Yeah, I took it to heart.
The graph, dude.
The graph is good.
Cam Anderson says, separately, I want to make the case for Amartey. Currently only one healthy center back at Leicester, and the Evans will be back soon argument sounds suspiciously like the reason we all got rid of Justin last year.
Hey.
The 4-0 price tag speaks for itself. I find it hard to believe we're going to be dying for 3 Foxes in the lineup, even if Amartey does become a dead spot. So there's him, there's Tsimikas, there's Omu Bamdele, who still just keeps starting every game for Norwich in preseason.
Yeah.
There's Manquillo, who started like one game for Newcastle, and there's Livermento, who I guess is competing with KWP at Southampton.
Yeah, but allegedly can play, according to the Terp, he can play multiple positions.
Did you ever just go 5 4-0s? I have to make that. I'm writing that down to just make that too.
Yeah. So I think Amartey, not a good player. He's definitely not a good player.
He's whatever. I don't know I don't think he's like bad.
I think he's bad. Okay. I think I'm pretty comfortable saying he's bad. But the worst center back when there's only one other fit on your team is the second best one. And that's sort of what they're looking at. I mean, they can play Ndidi there, but that doesn't seem like that's a winning recipe.
Yeah.
And, he obviously is talking about buying. We know how Leicester buy. They buy one player a year. And, I don't know. I mean, they could buy someone, and is he going to come straight in the next 2 weeks? I don't think so.
Seems weird.
Yeah, but we know with Evans, I mean, he has plantar fasciitis, a foot. That's not a very easy thing to come back from. NBA players suffer from that all the time.
That's what Hendo has. He misses many games every year.
Yeah.
Like it never goes away. It just hurts.
It's something you just manage it. It's like stress fractures or so. Yeah. We see Evans out until after the first international break. They have home Wolves, at West Ham, at Norwich. Norwich fixture is great. The other two are meh, I think. But he plays those 3 games. He's someone that you could kind of lean on a little bit. And because we have 4-5s like White, Ayling, Veltman, they're good 4-5s that you could start.
Yeah, old guys.
In the meantime, I think that it's it's definitely okay to go there and skimp a little bit on defense this year. It's very interesting. This has not happened in a long time. I think like 6 years or so since we really had 4-0 options that we could talk about. And I think Amartey's just you got to know what you're getting into here. It's probably a transfer. You're going to have to probably do a transfer there sooner rather than later. But we're going to wild card maybe early, and I don't know.
That's what I'm scared of. But again, it goes back to the thing of like, I don't know if I should be scared of that because I'm going to wild card early anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like how safe is too safe?
Yeah. How safe is too safe? That's what I'm worried about. Like Amartey, Tsimikas, first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Totally on board. I'm totally on board.
And that's the thing. Like I have them, Trent, then Ayling and White. Like say they don't play ever again after the first 3 weeks. Like I just fucking start Ayling and White. Like
who's your first on the bench?
I have Gilmore.
Right.
I mean, whatever, the midfielder. But I mean, that's just talking about the 11, though. I mean, you have your 2, 4, 5 guys there. Obviously, I'm not going to want to have that for a long time, but, I could get away with a week or two where I do that to like save a transfer and then double move to get a guy in for a 4-0 who's not playing. Like, I feel like that in my head is okay. And that's what I'm kind of.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's not great. I mean, it definitely
I feel like
hamstrings me.
If I built my team that way, with the extra funds, I feel like I'd want Gilmore to be a guy.
I'd love that.
Like, Gilmore's
Boomo
pretty nailed on 2 points per game, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I want Boomo there, but I can't do it. Can't have.
Yeah, it seems worth it to me. There's still like tons of COVID shit and like tons of rotation among all the top teams. There's still gonna be like your bench guys still gonna play a lot. I think this year.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, this is Game Week 4 problems because initially White and Ayling are on my bench or whatever.
Right. No, that's what I was saying. Like, then where are you after that? But it's something I do need to entertain, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
My temptation has always been to build I'm trying to build the perfect team. Like I'm basically trying to build a set and forget team, even though that's obviously not how the game is played. I'm trying to build a team that's just like, this is perfect. I just ride this into the sunset. I don't even use either wild card.
Yeah. I don't think you need to do that.
Probably not. It's just like where my mind goes.
Yeah.
When I'm building a team.
And this, like the more the days 2 weeks ago, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah,
and as I'm going, I'm like, okay, what perversity can I do?
This is meaningless to probably 90% of our listeners, but like the most similar game that I have to building a Game Week 1 team would be like building a Hearthstone deck before a tournament or something. And I'm like, I'm trying to build the perfect deck. I need to like win with this. These are the cards I have, Yeah. I'm picking 15 cards and I need to win the whole fucking thing with this, but it's a little different.
It's a little different. So can we go up to forwards? Because I think the 7.5, 8 million, that whole region is a very, very confusing thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Ings transfer happened. I fucking had my spidey senses tingling. And then sure enough, between last pod and this, it came in.
There he is. The guy.
It's funny. He was in my forward line was Bamford, Ings, Jimenez. Like 2 weeks ago we talked, and now Ings was in no teams, and now Ings is in all the teams. I'm very interested.
Is he really?
Dude, he was in like 3% of the teams. He's in 22%. Ings, dude. Oh
my God.
What do you make of the Ings inning?
Yeah, I find it extremely difficult to work out.
Agreed. I think Villa's the hardest thing right now. Especially with Watkins getting hurt.
Watkins and Emmy's knocked. He didn't play last game either. The thing that I always go back to, I feel like the only recent evidence we have of a team selling their superstar who is the center of everything and then buying a bunch of players, the most recent ones that come to mind for me are Suarez and Bale.
Yep.
And in both cases, I want to be clear, it worked out over time.
Yeah.
Like both teams used the money, hit on maybe like 2 of 8 or 2 of 7 of the guys, but then sold more guys and spent more money. And over time, they became better teams. But the year or two after they sold, they were like way worse. Way, way, way worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to replace half your team.
And it's hard to make transfers in general.
For FPL or IRL?
IRL, well, both.
Yeah,
but IRL, no one hits 100% of transfers. It's never happened, and it never will happen. And, I like Ings, and I like Bailey, and I like Emmy, and Sanson is still there. There's interesting guys and shit, but, the odds of hitting 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4 for their starting 11 and just clicking and just working with a completely different style of playing and a completely different style of moving the ball, completely different passing network and different relationships, to me is low. I like all the guys they're buying, but I just don't, even though the fixtures are the biggest bait of all, right? Because if they had
first 3.
Yeah, if they had so fixtures or bad fixtures, no one would have any of their players and we'd be just wait and see. But because they have Watford, Newcastle, Brentham, everyone's Ings, Emmy, Watkins.
I mean, Brentham speaks for itself, but Bachmann, Woodman, good luck.
Good luck.
No, I think what you're saying, I agree 1,000,000%. We saw it a little bit with Chelsea. Obviously, Franklin's a fraudulent human, but we see it when we have 4 outfield players being replaced, that aren't in the back 4. It's holy shit. New system, everything's new, and it takes a while to get used to each other. And what are they trying to do? That should happen right now. I mean, that should happen. That really, it should happen. And I'm especially now with Ollie out. I mean, maybe that even isn't that bad because Ollie playing on the wing, or if it's 4-4-2, I don't know. But to me, the biggest issue with this is just the balance. I'm very concerned about what the balance of the team looks like. Where he's going to be playing McGinn and Doug Luiz, basically having to do 3 humans worth of job. If he's going to be playing Ollie and Ings, and if he's playing Bailey and Buendia or whatever, I don't imagine that working at all. How are they going to be able to do anything in the midfield? I feel like it's just going to be almost like long balls or something. And then they're talking about maybe 3 at the back or a diamond. I still just feel like they're going to get completely overrun in midfield if they're just playing, because McGinn is obviously a very useful and good player, but he likes to, get forward, and he's not just he's not just a possessor. He doesn't break things up. He's not going to just keep things ticking along. He wants to join in. And, if you leave Doug sitting kind of by himself, and I think that Nakamba I feel like he needs to get in there. Like, I feel like he has to play, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, I think it's very wait and see to me. And I obviously the first 3 fixtures are very good, but I just don't see that much of an upside. Like we don't, it's not like we saw them last year either, after Jack was out, creating all these chances all the time and scoring 3 goals all the time. I mean, they struggled to score 1 or 2 and they just really didn't create much. It was a lot of kind of like dead possession, a lot of
set pieces.
A lot of set pieces, a lot of midfield play, a lot of just kind of knocking around the back. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of upset that Emmy got hurt because he was in so many teams and now he's in a lot less teams. I thought he was a really bad pick. Obviously, we talked about that and But,
that was Hemdog's question. He said, are there too many moving parts to start with Dings or Ollie if fit and the rest of them regardless of fixtures? And to me, the answer is yes. I just like...
And Ings not on pens. El Ghazi took it with him on the pitch.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
that hurts Ings a lot.
I mean, maybe El Ghazi's the best pick. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like... I don't mind the Ings pick. I totally understand where people are coming from.
I don't either.
I just personally don't think there's that much upside, and I do expect the team to, even though again I like all the players they bought, I just expect at least a part of the season to be learning how to play together. Like
which I think should be the beginning part.
Yeah, it should be. And I think it's like a football manager / like FIFA type of thing.
Like,
that
all
people
these
are
players are better, so they're going to immediately be better.
This guy, fucking amazing upgrades. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's like the most team sport of any sport ever in the world. Like, it matters way more how they play together than like
and they don't
the
have
individual
Barkley
level. Yeah, no Barkley.
Big problem for them.
Can't go there.
Can't replace.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad we're the same on that. Yeah, I don't have any villains in my team right now.
I haven't had a villain player. I mean, once Ings got transferred, I took him out of my team as he goes up by 20%. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I hope we're right, but we could be way wrong there.
We could be wrong. Yeah.
We have not mentioned really the Lukaku transfer.
Yeah.
So let's spend a few minutes on that one.
Yeah. So he's in. We don't have a price. Yeah, Pick said opinion on Lukaku. I was just like, dude.
Good player.
Yeah, like, what do you think he's going to be priced, first of all?
11.5, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking 11.5,
possibly
12 if they're feeling really perverse, but not on pens with Jorginho. He's one of the guys where, like, he's so good that he makes me think, do I want a premium forward slot in my team? Because I'm going to want Rom after a few weeks. It's probably a bit too soon. Like, I can wait, 4 or 5 weeks before I get him or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to want him. He's going to be nailed every game. I think he's not the guy to get rotated.
No, he doesn't ever need to get rotated.
Everyone around him will get rotated and he's fine. And he's just going to be the center of everything.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's just an absolute ridiculous player. He's so fucking good.
I think people underrate him because of like his last season with United.
Which all that LVG and all the mess there. But it's gonna. I mean, with Timo scored 5,000 goals playing next to Paulson.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's scary. I think like that's legitimately scary because now oppositions, before are just like, oh, let's like kind of mark Timo out and then they don't do anything. Now it's like, good luck. I think Timo and Ram
they're going to be so good.
Yeah, they're legit title contenders.
Yeah,
I think we definitely have a 3-horse race. Hopefully it actually is a race this season.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think it's going to come down to, 2 questions is going to be, are there going to be enough budget players in the game that we can afford him with Mo and Bruno? Or are there not going to be enough budget players in the game and it's going to be either him or Bruno?
I think definitely yes to the first part of your thing because I've been tinkering with Bruno, Mo, and Mane. And it's basically the same. And like, I haven't felt like
your team could be horrible though. We don't know that yet.
Of course it could be, but I don't think I'm like sacrificing a lot at different spots. You know what I mean? Like I probably have... In this current tinker, which is so far from where I'm going to end up game week 1.
I mean, you have like Neil at striker.
No, but what I was going to say is I have so much money in defense right now that like doesn't need to be there. Like I have Dean, Shaw, Richie, Veltman, Trent. Like I can still spread money and get like another striker. I can turn a mid into another guy like very easily. And if Mane was just Rom, it wouldn't be weird. You know, it would
it's the same thing. Good. Yeah, it's the same. So, it's better because you have a bench player instead of a non-playing forward.
Yeah, true. So
yeah, Rom, good player, good pick. It's going to be, he's obviously not going to be ready for Game Week 1 against Palace, against my team. Great. Let me just say, schedule makers. Great time to play Chelsea. Game Week 1.
Best time of the season to play Chelsea.
Let's fucking go.
None of the English players.
Yeah,
no
best
Rom.
time to visit the bridge,
dude.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna win.
Is Wilf still on your team?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. I was really worried that he would get tinkered out.
Never left my team since.
That's so good.
The first day.
So good. That means something to me.
Wilson.
I'm writing down. Wilf has never left Walsh's team.
Yes, he was in. I think he was in the auto pick.
I'm taking notes while
he was
we're
in
potting.
the auto pick team. I'm taking also. Notes. Yeah, no,
I think he was fantastic. In my auto pick too. I think
he's a fantastic player. Yeah. And he's on penals now with Millie. Hopefully, fucked off to fuckland. So
Millie, we've been dealing with Millie for
2 years. So long. Lukaku, great player. I love everyone being like, oh, so we should just have Vardy, right? Because he's a placeholder. Lukaku, like, no.
That's kind of
what fucking players that are good, that are good. Like
that was Bill Luke's question. He said thoughts on Vardy, and then he said relatively good first 3, and keeps the money up top to move Lukaku, and keeps the money up top to move to Lukaku and Kane once they settle up their new clubs. Lol on Kane, but yeah, I mean that's where my brain went also. But I don't want any of the forwards. I don't remember a season where the forwards look like they look this season. Dude, where I look through 12-5 to like 7 to 8.
And they're all bad.
And I don't want any of them.
Yeah, I don't want any of
except
them.
Except like Bamford.
But then I want all of them.
Well.
Hey. No, it's very unusual. Because, Kane at 12-5, obviously, he's probably going to score 200. It's not fashionable to talk about Kane, but yeah, it's definitely an underwhelming, big hitter forward.
It's really weird.
Putting Rom back in there and Kane, they're both going to get 200.
Kane is at, he'll
200
do
points.
A lot of points.
So that'll happen, but yeah, I think that the Vardy thing is very perplexing to me, where it's like you have to be within 1 million or whatever. It's just like we get transfers every week, like take a hit, like get points, like you get 2 spots of like 2 good players instead of 1 bad player who no one was considering 3 days ago, and then Lukaku goes and suddenly Vardy's good. Like he's still a bad pick.
Don't forget about Brian, dude.
Brian's a savant. We know that. But
yeah,
I feel like I don't
trying
get that at all.
Trying to choose the 3 game week period where Vardy gets 2 pens and like his 1 open play goal is just like random luck. You might as well just
play goal.
Yeah, he doesn't do that anymore. He just scores pens. So I don't know. Trying to time that just seems ridiculous to
tough.
me.
10-5, yeah.
But yeah, Timo is really Chelsea are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, the Chelsea team is very silly with Rom up there, I think.
There's literally there's 4 teams in world football that have money. It's Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, and PSG. Yeah. And they've just the past COVID year and this year, they're just like, let's fucking go. Yeah. And they're just buying everyone, and no one else is buying anyone. No one else has money.
Chelsea are still in for Koundé or whatever, the center back.
Yeah, they're probably going to get him. And City are still in for Kane. A lot of the plugged in people are still just like, yeah, they're probably going hard for Kane. Like
after
they gave up on the Messi plan last season, and then they're gonna go for Kane.
Yeah. Whoa, a lot of action.
There's so much action. I can't really organize my thoughts. Wait, so what? I'm on Antonio right now, and I feel like you are too.
Yep.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
It feels.
I can't believe you're on Antonio.
It feels awful.
You're the anti-Antonio.
I hate him.
Anti-Tony.
I don't think I've literally ever had a good period of him in my team ever since playing FPL. But
yeah, they exist though.
Oh, I remember when he scored 4 goals against Norwich. Well, not in my team.
Not neither of our teams.
Yeah, we remember the things. I think that a lot of factors have contributed to him kind of standing out. I think to me is the opening fixtures are very, very good. At Newcastle, home Leicester, home Palace, at Southampton are all Newcastle's going to be a bust, but they suck. But they all are 3-goal games for West Ham potential.
Yeah.
I was worried about...
And it's before Europa, too.
It's before Europa. I was worried about the Western Ham's players being fit and ready, but we saw Suf, we saw Deckers, we saw Supchak all play the last game. So, that's also leading me to believe that, we should see a first 11 coming in. Like, no Mark Noble, like, no nonsense.
Yep.
Like, I think that they should start strong, keep playing strong.
I agree.
Antonio's fit, until proven otherwise. He's fit right now. And they're playing Benrahma in the 10. They're not playing with, part of the reason why Antonio's always bothered me in the past is that he's like kind of a jack of all trades where he can play anywhere. And
wing
some games he's playing, he's a decoy runner, and some games he's just holding up, and then it's like a Fornals and Bowen show, and you want one of them. And Antonio's nowhere near points. And I feel like he's wearing the 9 shirt, and it seems like they're doing 4-2-3-1 things, not doing 3 at the back right now. Everything just kind of points to him just being up top, being the man. Without Noble, he's going to be on pens, and the opening first few fixtures being really good. I think at 7-5, he's just a good pick.
Rice might be on pens, to be honest, but
I don't know about that.
We'll see. I just don't know is what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you too. And the thing with I know Lingard was everyone's fucking baby boy last season, but I don't think he was good for Antonio because he shoots so much. He's so selfish.
He also goes into the central striker spots.
Like he was basically, they set up the team so that he could almost be a 2 up top. Like he presses, but he was basically just cutting inside, shooting all the time. He doesn't pass or create anything ever. Like those minutes going to Benrahma, who's like an incredible creator. And looking like dynamite, and also currently on my team.
Oh,
2 for 2, baby!
All right, we'll have to get there. I wanted to talk to you about Benrahma. Okay, all right, keep going.
It just feels good. Yeah, I'm with you in the fact that I just feel like sort of like what you were talking about with Liverpool. Like they just feel like one of the teams that are just like good to go right now. System, players, fitness, fixtures, just good.
I feel like I'm a little bit half and half on that because Soufal, Deckers, they play one game. And I feel like they haven't bought anyone. Obviously, they have the same team. Yeah. System might be a little bit tweaked, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as similar to Liverpool of the whole team. But yeah, I mean, I feel like so Benrahma in as well. Let's hear about let's hear a little
Benny
bit
and the
that.
Jets, dude.
He's good. He's a good player.
He's really good. We knew he was really good. And I think he just had a really awkward betting in season. And, it just feels like it's his time to shine to me. Okay. I mean, he's just... People always ask, what can you learn from preseason? And it's always an impossible question to answer because there's so many different data points that we take in and some ignore and some... But, form is still a thing. You can come into the season red hot and just hit the ball running, and it just seems like that's where we're at with him. He's just balling out, player of every match in preseason, playing number 10, had his awkward betting in season where he played 1,000 minutes when the transfer was all weird and he didn't pass his physical and was hurt a bit. And I'm just this is a guy who was a fucking superstar for Brentford, mega star in the championship before moving, and I just am I just think he's ready to go. Yeah.
I mean, I think to me with him is the system's the most important thing. And if Moyes is looking at the team and saying we need to be more solid after they, have 2-2, 3-1, which could happen in the 4-2-3-1 because Craig Dawson in a 2 is very sketchy to me. I mean, they all of a sudden, Rice, obviously we know what he does, but, Souček, that's a good pivot for sure. But the balance could be a little bit off and they might be shipping a little bit more than he wants them to. I mean, Ariel is obviously a wonderful signing, but I think initially, based on what we have, the data we have right now, Benrahma at 6 looks very spicy, very tasty.
It reminds me of Mara's year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you.
It's I agree. Wait, who's this guy who's just playing number 10, scoring every game? That's what the Mars thing was. It was just 5-5 guy. He's playing right behind Vardy. He's scoring every game, man of the match every game. That's
what Benrahma's been looking. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, there is also the slight question mark about, Bowen's been like on the bench. I don't know if they're going to be selling him, but
yeah, I don't know. There's Liverpool rumors and stuff. Yeah. I'm not really sure.
I'm still interested in Yarmo because, watching Ukraine play, he's still amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if he plays, he's a good pick. It's just like,
but I'm just saying, I mean, they still have, and Fornals and Bowen, like they still have players there. I mean, and Lanzini, they're trying to move back also, right? A little bit deeper. I don't know how that's going to fit in with Souček and Rice too. If they're still going to try, if he's going to maybe try like 4-3-3 or something, I don't know what he's doing there. But Lanzini playing a little deeper. Yeah,
it's such a weird
weird amalgamation of humans. Yeah, it's just weird. So
it's when there's like clearly been no connection between like the board and the 50 managers they've had over the last 10 years, and now Moyes is coming in, and maybe they'll settle down a little bit.
Areola though is an underratedly like really really incredible buy because Flappy Hands has been
on a decline,
very shaky,
on a decline for sure.
Yeah,
do you think
that's a big deal?
Do you think Areola's first pick?
Maybe not like game week 1, 2, or 3, but it would be ridiculous if we're sitting in like October, November, and Fabianski's playing over him. I think that would be actually insane.
Unless it's one of those things where he like brings the best out of Flappy and he gets back to his normal.
I don't think like his best right now is close to Areola.
Yeah, I mean he's 36.
Yeah,
like he should be declining.
Yeah, I think it should happen as soon as possible.
Yeah,
West Ham interesting team though, and again, before Europe
I like
starts,
the fullbacks too.
Souf.
I like Souf and Kress. Great picks, I think.
Great picks. Kress on set pieces.
Yeah,
lot to like in West Ham before they go to Europe. So
the Europe thing is definitely very concerning.
Oh yeah,
like if you're starting your season with Soufal. You love the first 4. I expect a couple cleans, maybe an assist in those first 4. But then it's like I don't even know what to expect at all. I don't know if there's rotation. I don't know, if they're gonna be tired, they're gonna be bad. Like I don't know what to expect. So it's sketch.
Yeah, I agree. So what about the other 4? I mean, like Callum. I just feel like that is such a big question.
Forwards.
Yeah, well, we went into a little Western tangent.
We gotta.
I think the mid-price forward though. I think it's so fascinating because they're just. I mean, Bamford, Jim. They're both still on my team.
I want to talk about Leeds.
Okay.
Because we were both triple Leeds, auto.
Yeah.
Every tinker.
Yeah. So Raf has made his way for my team.
I have 0 Leeds currently.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I still have Bamford, and Bamford's not going anywhere in my team. Ayling, I still have also. I still like Ayling.
Yeah, Monkman's question was, how bad is no Leeds until after their Liverpool match? How many goals do you see them scoring in the first 4 games? It feels bad having Bamford and Raf early doors. And yeah, I mean, I just, over the transition of going from, again, it's a similar theme to where I started with Liverpool and stuff. It's like going from this is my long-term perfect team to win FPL to shorter term. I'm just like, why am I tripling them in these fixtures? I don't want to start Ayling in any of the except Burnley. I don't want to start him in 3 out of 4.
Well, I think home Everton's actually really good.
Home Everton's good too. Yeah. But so 2 out of the 4 are bad, and one of the other 2 is iffy.
Yeah, and it's the good one's away.
And we saw the second half of the season how much more conservative they were in the big matches last season, just scoring 0 or 1 in all of the big matches. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I still love Bamford and Raf as long-term picks. I'm just not sure about starting with them.
Yeah. I still feel like Leeds, we're talking about, consistency and continuity. Yeah. And they've had, they've had some injuries to center back position, like Llorente's out and Firpo also is a little bit sketch. So Dallas might be playing left back. Koch looks back, Stru's there, Cooper's healthy again, but they have the same coach, 95% like same team. Yeah. And we know about Leeds is that their fitness levels on the individual players are off the charts. Yeah. They're playing Man United initially, who have, a few players who just got back, a little bit disjointed. Everton, Rafa just got bent over from Man United the other day, and all new players, like kind of a mess. Burnley, like Liverpool's tough fixture. I just feel like that they could still be fine, even though the first few fixtures on paper don't look real. Like it's not, Villa's fixtures where they play, Brentham and fucking, Watford or whatever. But
like it's worth it if they get through it. Even if they're slightly low scoring, but they get through it fine, then it's worth it because then you want them for the rest of the season, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, Bamford's still like on pens, like main man. I mean, Rodrigo's in, Rafinha's still the creative hub on set pieces. If you can afford to have Ayling, benched for a couple and then starting for a couple and you have him in place, I still just think that they're going to be fine. And, United definitely, game week 1, going to be an interesting game because they definitely played very well against Everton recently, and they got like Shaw back, and, the Slabening was back, and, they've got like a pretty decent 11 looking for the first week, but I don't know. I'm just not that worried about Leeds because of the fixtures still. But I did take Raf out. I did take Raf because Raf and Bamford. So
why Raf out and Bamford not moving?
Well, like what? I think to me the biggest difference is like one is the main man on pens and one is like the winger on set pieces. And like I feel like Bamford is just the guy that I want forever, and he's going to be able to withstand the harder fixtures more than Raf. Like if they have worse possession or whatever, like. I just feel like he's more of the goal scorer, and I also feel like looking around the show at those price points in both positions, I just feel more confident and comfortable with Bamford than getting like an extra Raf or dropping down a 4-5 forward to get Raf in as in a 3-5-2.
Yeah, the position difference is like
that makes a big deal,
a humongous difference. But I think the goal involvement last season, there's no reason that we shouldn't use that data. When they were on the pitch, Bamford was 55% and Raf was 36%.
Yeah, so, and as much as eye test like shows us that Raf is an incredible talent, incredible player. Yeah. I mean, wingers miss chances. Like, that's why they're wingers, Yeah. I mean, that's why he's not like a striker or a 10.
And chances created, we know, is a volume game also. Yeah. Like, you can create one chance and your guy scores it. You can create 7 chances and not get an assist. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just still feel like Bamford is just such a bankable asset. And I still think he's just a really undervalued pick at $8 million. The other thing too, I mean, dude, he had like 194 points last year in his first like 3,000 minute Premier. Like, I just don't imagine he could be worse. That's my thing, is I just don't get how he could be worse. He has a full year under his belt. He's coming into the prime of his career, like age wise, like everything wise. And I just feel like Bamford's such a good pick. I love him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a good argument. I think those are good arguments. Yeah, Leeds are interesting. It's long term, love every Leeds player. I'm just like, get all of them. They're all underpriced.
But I mean,
short term, it's a different argument.
Yeah, no, and again, right? You look at those first 4 games, and they could score 3 or 4 goals in the first 4 games combined, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and that would be a problem. If you have bad attackers, that would be bad. Unless if Bamford scored them all. Then
unless he scores the 2, and then
you're fine.
You're fine, because he's 2 out of 4.
There's 7-point goals, not 4 with Bamford, as we know as well, which is huge.
Yeah. Let's maybe move to United because you brought him up. So we got some questions. Vax says, "What's your feel on Tony Gloves?" Mishka said, "Does Sancho not playing any preseason minutes make him a punt?" And what's your take on Man United if you've watched any preseason? Yeah, I mean, I'm with you that like they may or may not hit the ground running, right? It's like they have Rashford's out. Sancho probably won't play. Shaw and Slab just got back. The midfield's still bad outside of Bruno. I don't know. What's your feeling with United, like, out the jump? I feel like 2 months when their 11 is settled, they're going to be fucking good. Better than last year. But, like, right now, I'm not sure.
I think the fixtures are very, very kind for them. I think the Leeds game is going to be tough. I think it's going to be like a very nervy, high energy, high tempo game. It could, like, maybe I'm imagining like a score draw. at Southampton, at Wolves, like, first of all, neither of those games at Old Trafford, I think, is really lucky and amazing for Ole, because they're going to be getting players back and still trying to find their feet. Southampton look all sorts. That should be a walk in the park. So and Wolves also are playing a high line. Like, that should be ripe for Man United. They shouldn't have to, like, play well to win 3-1, 4-2, 4-1, something like that. And then they have
Newcastle.
Then they have Newcastle at home, which is going to be 70% possession with Sancho back and all the things happening. You know, so
you're
I think all those things really bode well for them to just find their feet. And I think, you know, we'll know after the Newcastle game, kind of like, what are we looking at here? You know, how's Sancho looking? Right. And then they have, you know, a tougher run. They have, you know, some of the better teams in the league coming up in September, October, November, and we'll see at that point. But you know, from our standpoint in the fantasy perspective, right? I mean, we know that, you know, the defense, they'll probably keep like 14 cleans or so. And, you know, Shaw's been looking good. So that's a 5-5 guy. Bruno's still Bruno, 12. He's still going to do the penals. He's still going to do the things. Greenwood, 7-5 for the initial term, looks like a decent pick. I mean, they still have good players. You don't like Greenwood. So talk to me about Greenwood. Because I do think Greenwood's a good pick. GAMEWEEK 1.
I just don't like him or rate him.
Okay.
It's as
same
simple
as like
as
2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was the one last season who was like, yeah, he's going to get single-digit goals, and everyone's like, he's just scored 25 fucking goals. Like, oh my God, nailed, best player ever. And guess what? He had a bad finishing year and was just bad basically all year. I don't know. I just think he's a really limited player in IRL more than like, you know, I'm basing that more eye test and what he does on the pitch for me. And I just think like he's like Rashford does a lot of good things all the time. Like, you know, he's not a perfect player by any means and he misses tons of chances, but like he is an incredible athlete. He's an incredible outlet. He tracks back. He presses. He makes good runs all the time. Greenwood just doesn't do that.
Doesn't do any of
that. He slows it down and tries to shoot all the time. Yeah. That's all.
I think that I agree with you in everything that you're saying, but I think that Greenwood for FPL is like a time and a space, like picking your spots. And I feel like this is the spot to pick because he still plays for Man United. Yeah. They still like create a lot because they have good players and they still have good fixtures in the opening. And when he's going to be starting and he's going to be getting, you know, 3 or 4 shots a game, that's when you want him. And he's not a season keeper. So I feel like in the initial like run that's like 7-5, I still feel like he's a good pick there.
I mean, he might be. The difference, I guess, between him and like Jota or even like a Mahrez or something is like, well, I guess we don't really know. We don't know how Ole is going to deal with like a rotation and all that stuff with it, you know, a bigger squad. But I just feel like, you know, Jota's going to play all season. He's not going to start every game at all, but he's going to sub on.
He'll play 2,000 minutes.
I think he'll play more. Like he'll sub on pretty much every game that he starts on the bench, and he's going to start some games also. Yeah. Whereas like, I feel like Man United's best case season, Greenwood plays like very few minutes and like never starts.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, maybe Tony's back and doing things.
Tony could play. So that was Vax's question. I mean, like if Tony's playing like left wing / you know, cutting inside, basically second striker, could he have his bounce back year?
Yeah, he could, but I mean, I don't think that you want to, you know, be the first player or the first FPL manager to like get those points because he could also just not play like Cavani plays and, you know, they play Greenwood and Lingard or Sancho, like, you know, they still have options there. Yeah. And he was so bad last year.
Paul at wing. Paul played a lot of wing last season.
Yeah, Paul, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he was so bad last year that it just seems like a little bit ridiculous to start with him, but he's someone you want to monitor because, you know, if you watch him play a game and he's good, then you want to transfer him because he could just score 4 goals in the next 2 games or whatever. And then that's a lot of points. But
honestly, it's not that dissimilar to like what I was just saying about Greenwood, where like Tony doesn't do a lot of stuff.
He doesn't do shit. He just stands up and loiters, and then he tries to like break on the counter or whatever.
Yeah, the big difference is Tony has a track record of seasons of scoring goals and being like way above XG at the top level, whereas Greenwood has like a month, 2 months of it.
Right. Yep. Okay.
And one of the things that I liked most that Neil said on the fireside also was just like, there's a chance Sancho hits the ground running, takes the league by storm, unplayable, best thing ever. But there's at least as much of a chance that he takes, 6 months to bed in and get used to playing with his new teammates and form partnerships and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's just fair. Like fair and logical.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we're running long, baby. I mean, we could do another hour. Less? No, Lauren was like, "Is it going to be a long one?" I was like, "Oh yeah, baby,
it's going to be really long.
It's going to be a long AF."
My screen is still just like full of questions.
Good. So okay, let's start chipping away.
Haffy said, "Started the season with strong similarities from last year, with teams and players returning to club late due to summer tournaments. With that in mind, are there any teams/players you're fully avoiding because of what happened last year? Thinking about United and City's slow starts. Conversely, are there players or teams you're eyeing because they've had proper preseason?" So we mentioned Liverpool and West Ham as like proper preseason, good to go. Like, I'm personally not having any Chelsea players. I think that's a team that I could be like, all their players are back late. Don't even know what their 11 is. Don't really know shit about them. And I'm just like, that's an example of a team for me where I'm just like, I don't know. They're going to be good. I'm going to get guys eventually, but.
Yeah, I haven't been too interested in Chelsea either. I think for both the reasons that you're mentioning, as well as they have 5,000 players and who's going to even be first choice, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we mentioned Liverpool earlier and, Palace, we've had a really strong preseason. Yeah, I mean, it's City have been a little bit iffy. I mean, they've had 1.5 games. COVID,
I don't have any City players right now.
Yeah, Spurs have played a very good preseason. I mean, Son's been playing. Yeah, Ollie's been playing. Son's been playing. I think Dyer's an interesting name that we haven't talked about. I mean, at 4-5, but and Kane allegedly is going to be ready for game week 1. Whether or not he starts or not, we'll see. But Spurs have been having a very consistent, very steady preseason. So maybe that's someone that you want to target.
Yeah.
Even though it is obviously unfortunate they started with City. So, I think, we look at these things, but how much can you really, how much credence can you really put into this? I don't know. I think it's like a half measure. I think you pay a little bit of attention to it, and it can use it for confirmation bias and discard it if it doesn't suit your needs. I think
one thing that I always remember with the bias pod was that we evolutionarily still have biases for a reason. If they were bad or not helpful to us as a species, we wouldn't have them anymore. So confirmation bias, recency bias, not necessarily bad.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same thing as stereotypes. It's just they're generalizations that we shortcut our brains into just using as rules, and they're helpful. Usually they're helpful and they help.
And you just got to be aware of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Let me read these two. Yeah, and sometimes they're kind of bad. El Clito, which must be that Clit guy that I read on last pod. Something Clit, his name. What are your thoughts on team structure for the upcoming season? It seems there's been a slight increase in attacking option prices, which might lure us into investing more in defense, but is that a mistake? And then Aiden said, most people are going for 2 premiums in midfield. Who would be your favorite 5.5 to 7.5 guys to complement them? I think everyone's on Mo Bruno, right?
Pretty much everyone. I mean, I think people that don't have Bruno have Son, and then they spread it around a little bit more, but they probably put it a bit more at the back.
Gotcha.
I think Jota is definitely very popular.
Yeah.
Who are the other? I mean, what do you think about Gundo?
Okay, yeah. I kind of forgot about him. I can't wrap my head around what to do with him. It seems very, very short term, but he'll probably be good in that stretch. I
mean, the thing that we learned last year is when Kevin doesn't play, Gundo's the best player in the game.
He's striker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can that happen again? Was that a 2-month blip? Does Jack change that?
Yeah.
A lot of questions that I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with Gundogan last year that was so nuts is that he never did that really remotely close to that for City ever before.
For anyone.
Yeah, even when he was with Dortmund, right? He was
Yeah.
more of just like the stitcher supplier, not the guy that was like donging. And he was just scoring like every fucking game.
Yeah.
Multiple goals a game. So
Yeah. And he also, on top of that, ran hot as hell and way outperformed his XG and just went nuts. So
yeah,
it's like,
and he's been 5-5 in the game every single year until right now he's 7-5. Like you don't love that.
I don't love that.
Like you don't love spending 2 more for a player when they've been the same price for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't love that.
Yeah.
And the thing with last season also was like there were many signs of like, whoa, he's getting a lot of big chances. Whoa, he's in this box. Whoa, he's getting a ton of shots. And then everyone could get him.
Right.
Just starting like raw game week 1, and it's like he might just be like DM. It's like, I don't know. It seems.
What about Mahrez? I thought you were on Mahrez for a while.
I have been forever.
You got red.
It's the perversity versus not. It was the Jota Mahrez, or did I stump up for Mane? So like current is Mane, which means I couldn't also afford Mahrez because I have Mane, Mo, and Bruno, and affording a 9 on top of that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, as high an upside as anyone in the game. Like game week 2, home Norwich, they could score 6. He could start like. He's a good pick. I think he's a good pick.
Good pick. Good player.
Yeah, extremely good player. To me, he's like
for a long time.
He's like first choice right wing almost. I mean, unless we see a return to the right wing for Sterling and Jack actually plays tons of left wing minutes, which
he hasn't played Raz in the right wing spot
since Sane.
4 years.
Yeah, since Sane.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but that would be like the only real direct competition for the right wing spot, as far as I can tell, right? I mean, unless Bill,
but he plays Bill there. He could play Ferran there.
Bill,
I mean,
who apparently wants to leave. Like,
I mean, are you questioning the perversity of?
No, I'm not trying. I would never say that he's nailed. I am not trying to say that. I'm just saying I think he's first choice right now.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah, he's a good pick.
Good pick. Good player, good pick.
I don't want too many guys that I'm like, fuck, I'm going to need to get rid of these guys immediately.
I agree with you. That's not a good strategy.
But some of them with extremely high upside is maybe worth it.
Well, Mahrez also may not fall into that category. I mean, he's also the kind of guy who... Yeah, we're guessing that, I mean, he's not going to play more than like 2,000, 2,400 minutes. But... You know, if you have a good bench, you know, he sometimes gets 0 minutes. You know, you get your sub guy on, but when he starts, his points per minutes are always really good for City. When he starts, with Pep,
he's an 11 or 12 million player. Like we know that. So
interesting player.
If you think he's going to start, you know, 2 out of the first 3 or 3 out of the first 4, he should probably be in our teams. Yeah. What do you think about him?
I think it's a great pick. I think it's absolutely a great pick. I think it comes down to just what you can afford. You know, I like the consistency of like Bamford, Antonio, Jim. Like front 3 for me. Like I love that they're the most important players on the team. They're on pens. Yeah. They're going to play every minute they can be healthy for. Like, and I would have to, you know, like to me and my looking at my team, like I'd have to sacrifice one of them to allow for Mahrez. And I like that more than that, but I could also understand, you know, you want to go like City and they have more explosivity. So, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think Mahrez is a fucking amazing pick. He's so good. And
one thing I'm thinking about with your Tsimikas selling of Sim is like if I went Mane to Mahrez and one of my defenders to Sim to still have triple Liverpool, like oh my god, I have infinity money.
Yeah, it's good.
A lot of money is good. It's cool.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's really good. I have a City player.
What are the other guys that Aiden, like other mids? There's not like that many that I love. I like the Wilf pick, like strictly based off of how much you love the Wilf pick and being on pens and like being in potentially the best attacking team he's ever played on, probably. Because they're not managed by Woy, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
but there's not that many other guys in that price bracket where I'm like, yeah, good pick. Feel really good about it.
Yeah, I think we've covered them. I think it's like Ben Rama. I mean, we talked a little bit about Villa. Ali is definitely someone to like keep an eye on at 6'5" if he's going to do the things.
Sar
at 6 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Raf is still really good.
Yeah, Raf's still good. I think Wilf is definitely someone that you should think like twice about. He's on pens with Millie, like not in the team because he's awful, and Vieira realizes that.
Yeah.
And, he's playing, that left wing spot, really less defensive responsibilities, and we're keeping the ball on the ground a lot more and trying to play a little bit more.
Yeah.
He should, he should get the most like FPL points of his like life this year.
Yeah.
If he plays, 3,000 minutes and he's healthy.
Grob, dude, 0.5% owned.
Yeah. I mean, Grob, good fixtures, good player, set pieces, pens, it's still a really good player.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, I think there are plenty of names in that area. I mean, Barnes, like 7 million, even though he might not play every game, but he definitely has high upside. He's definitely a good player. I mean, Saka's going to be back soon for Arsenal. That's an interesting name.
Right.
Bumo at 5.5, I think, is still a very good pick out of position if they're playing 3 at the back, which it looks like they will be doing.
Yeah.
Newcastle got Willock back. I mean, Willock was scoring a goal points every fucking game for them last year.
Who the hell there are a lot of guys, dude. Yeah.
But there are a lot of names. I mean, we just threw out like 15, 12, or like 10 names, right?
Yeah.
And you want 1 or 2 of these guys, so you should be able to do that.
One ideally, probably, but
yeah.
It's always the bait of like 2 of them. We always fall into that trap. Speaking of bench guys, we got 2 questions on that. Up here, Arsenal said, who's the best 4-5 mid? Any possible Boyds or Cantwells? And then Daniel Daler said, feels between Delta variant, the insanely compressed schedules, having all the nailed playing bench players is crucial again. Your last spot had midfielders at 5, 5, and 6. Who do you like best at 5 and under that's nailed and not a huge card risk? So, like, you're obviously extremely light on the bench. Have you fucked with that at all? Like having like a 5-5 like Mbumo or like someone actually good on your bench?
No, I'm fine to just have my like 2-point, meat and potato guy with like Gilmore rather than, splurging a little bit more to try and get like a set piece assist from like a Jensen or, something like that, or get like Conte who might get like an assist periodically. Or like, Calvin Phillips. Yeah, I mean, there are like 5 million guys. I mean, even like Keita's kind of like an interesting name to think about at 5 million spot.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, but I think it's just, you just kind of, this is the game we play, right? There are no like rolling subs. It's not like the World Cup or Champions League game where, you just, I think you just put your money on the 11. And, you hope that they all play more or less. And, game week 1, we don't have budget. We don't have like a 103 million budget
that's the thing.
Yeah. It's just, the compromises are so great from going from like, what it looks like game week 1 versus when it's game week 20, when we can easily have like a 5 or 5.5 guy when we know like which one of the 40 in the game is good, like Suchek or whatever.
Yeah.
So like in the absence of knowing that, I'm happy to just like go bare bones and, hope it works out, I think.
Right. And the thing with Soup is that he was 5 and we kind of already had an indication that he was good. It's not really the same with like you said, it's like DM still, like all the other 5s right now. I don't know. The conclusion that I came with
is the one, I think.
No, but they're buying Armstrong and they suck.
I know, but even, they suck. They're buying Armstrong. They still have Che. But I think if there's going to be a 5 million name that emerges that's like, oh, he's like actually good, I think it's probably going to be him.
Could be, yeah. It's just, I came to the same conclusion like last pod where it's early doors. Don't worry too much about it. Just have a playing guy on your bench. It doesn't have to be soup check. It doesn't have to be a goal scorer. And, we're going to wildcard. We're going to use transfers. We're going to get our budget up. So, yeah.
But I like Gilmore. I mean, he took some set pieces.
I'm on Gilmore as well. He seems to me to be the best 4-5.
Yeah, I mean, Brownhill, I had Brownhill for a while because, like, I think he scored like a brace a few weeks ago or something. But they still have like a handful of midfielders and he's just like not that good. And Gilmore, I mean, he's like the best player on the team. So he's obviously not going to play 2 games this year against Chelsea, but yeah, I feel like
that's not till game like 9 anyway. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he's a good 4-5 guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he shoots occasionally and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like MacArthur also like might be good for us. He might be playing, like he might just be
who I was going to ask you, like what's your guess for Palace midfield?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It seems crazy too.
Yeah. The thing that's like the most comforting is that Milivojevic feels like very far away from the midfield 3. It feels like it's going to be
love that
Schlupp, Riedewald, Maka, Gallagher, like 3 of those 4, like for sure.
Yeah.
And Milivojevic is like 5th, which is good because it would take 2 injuries for him to play. So, I mean, I do think Gallagher, he's going to play. He can't play against Chelsea, obviously, but he should play every minute he's healthy for. He's easily the best one. And, we also still have Kouyaté too, also, who can come in. Anderson's hurt right now. So Kouyaté played center back last game for us. So it looks like it's going to be him and Guehi for the first game at center back pairings. But, when Kouyaté comes, even that makes Millie down to 6. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think Riedewald, Maka, Gallagher, I mean, that should work. I mean, that has a lot of energy, has good ball progression, has good breakup. I think, you put Schlupp in there for any of them. And I feel like
for game week 1, I guess, because Gallagher can't play.
I mean, Gallagher, dude, I'm telling you, he's
love him.
So good.
I don't love him. He's such an asshole that it's hard for me to love him.
Yeah,
but when he's on your team, he's your cunt, and you love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be a real game changer, I think. I wish we bought him. I mean, I don't know what the loan, if there's a buy option.
Well, Chelsea have infinite money, so why would they ever sell?
Yeah, why would they do that?
They could just loan forever.
Yeah, but he's gonna change the complexion of the team hugely, I think. And Maka also. Yeah, we're gonna be good. We're going to be good this year.
You'll like this. I mean, we already talked about Benrahma, but I want to read it anyway because it's Brian. And he said, asking on behalf of my colleague Turpis, talk to us about Benrahma. Looking great in preseason. Maybe he needed time to get up to prem speed. That's pretty normal. Potentially playing behind the striker. So, yeah, we like Benrahma. And speaking of Turp, he said, who are your favorite game week 1 points? Game week 1 punts. I can't speak today. Who are your favorite game week 1 punts? Price range is Tsimikas to Vardy.
Fucking Terp. Terp is so fucking hot right now.
He's blowing up.
I mean, we covered this, I think.
Yeah, game week 1 puns. I mean,
tune in for our My Life, I think.
Yeah, My Life will be a lot more of these, is it these 2 guys or these 2 guys? And also, everyone in our Discord, I always respond, but I don't know if anyone even reads the responses, but post on Rate My Team and at me or whatever. If it's your team specific, I don't want to read it on the pod. It's not relevant to anyone.
No one cares.
Yeah. Mishka, thoughts on the game week 1 bench boost? Is it dumb to blow your load early? And then Jerry also said triple captain Mo in game week 1. The pro, one less chip to think about. Can you tell me it's not a completely ridiculous idea?
I love both of the things.
I don't mind it at all.
I love both those ideas. I think anyone who plays the game seriously and tells people that they're dumb idiots for using chips early and not waiting for the double game week are dumb idiots. I think
good counter.
The variance is just so extreme that how many ridiculous. Times do you need to use a triple captain chip for a double game week and get 3 points to realize actually there's a lot of luck. There's so much luck with these things happening.
Predicting
in a one game week.
1 week is impossible. We know it's impossible. It's
it's actually ridiculous. Mane, right? He gets injured in the first game of a double game week, home bankers, right? He got 1 point. Okay, get fucked, Kane home Norwich, in game week 22, randomly. Hat trick. That's when you want to it's bench boost, same thing. Right? We can't determine that, using the chips in the second half are better than in the first half when you're using all these transfers and, building your 4-week game plan around getting these players in at the behest of not having players on other teams who are getting points in the mean term. It's just in the immediate term. It's just so many variables that you can't account for.
It's too many variables, yeah.
So do what you think is best.
It's the Always Sunny meme, and you try and...
No, it totally is.
Yeah, right. Just do what you think is best is really the only thing. If you feel a fit Liverpool, Mo looking really sharp, blah, 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 at Carrow Road is just a fucking hattie waiting to happen, then you should triple captain him because that's better than anyone's going to get in the double game week anyway. So
how many hat tricks does Mo score on opening days? 2 of 3 hat tricks? Every game, every year, he scores a hat trick in the first game of the season.
Pretty good record for it. Maybe I'll do it too. Hemdog was asking about Dean. He said, only a friendly defeat against Man United, but Everton giving off bad vibes. Feels like Rafa will have a job on his hands getting a defensive tune out of this lot. He has set pieces. Is it enough to justify 5-5? You were really hot on Dean, and I imagine he's not on your team right now.
He hasn't been in my team, period. So
okay, but you loved it when we talked premium. You were like, he's my favorite 5/5. He's the guy I would have over anyone. I
he think. Still is. If I were to have a 5/5, it would still be him.
I have him.
You bet.
Okay.
I imagine you have Richie as well.
I do have Richie.
Yeah, you're bad. You're doing the thing that I don't do. You're getting the players that we talk about, so you're going to do all this year.
We'll see. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I mean, obviously they got fucking ass fucked by Manchester United, but Southampton are not Manchester United. They're home. They didn't have the strikers. They had no outlet balls. I mean, they're playing fucking Damari Gray at striker. It's a shit show, and they're going to get the guys back. I think they're just going to be parking. They're going to be straight parking, and he's going to be throwing in crosses, and he's going to be getting fucking baps, and he's going to be doing all the things.
Yeah, I think.
And they have really good fixtures at the beginning of the season.
It's just Rafa for me.
It's Rafa. We have thousands of minutes of Rafa, games of him just creating nothing and getting clean sheets. And Everton have good players to do that.
Terrible Newcastle team.
Yeah,
bottom 4
squad
talent and bottom wage, and they never bought anyone. I mean, Hemdog fucking knows, and they would still they were. Yeah. 9 cleans in 17-18, 11 cleans in 18-19, 7th best for goals allowed in both those seasons, mid-table in XG, mid-table in shots allowed, with a fucking bottom 3 team, So
their squad is very, very bad though.
I hate their team.
It's really dangerous because
their team
they don't have
so
a lot
bad.
of first team. They just don't have a lot of first team players, and they haven't been able to buy. I think they're getting FFP fucked or whatever.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so.
Weird.
And they could be in trouble. I mean, the squad on paper looks like 12th, 13th, would be a good result for them this season.
And that's Rafa's wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter.
He loves a 12th and 13th. Yeah.
But I still feel like Dean. I mean, he's gonna. I mean, especially with Siggy in the naughty house with the
the diddling. The diddle do's and diddle don'ts.
You don't want to do diddlings. But Dean's fucking great pick. He's just.
Yeah, I think so.
9 assists, 8 assists, 4 goals, 5 assists. That's pretty fucking good. He gets 9 attacking returns every year,
Pretty
It's going to be good. He's a good player.
Let me see. I have 4 more questions because I'm skipping a bunch because I think we talked about them already. But Noel said, can we get Walsh's short list of diabolical picks?
Oh my goodness.
Compilation. Are there too many to list?
No, I don't like this question, honestly. At this moment in time, I don't think I have diabolical picks, honestly.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
I just don't feel like I am there.
Paul's question is basically, I feel like I'm too worried about rotation, and then I end up not picking enough players from the obvious top 4 teams outside of Bruno, Mo, Trent, Shaw. It seems wrong. He's just pointing out that it seems wrong, and I can't disagree. I mean, it feels weird to not have City, not have Chelsea, who are probably favorite and second favorite to win the title.
Yeah, well, I threw this out earlier, and you just batted me aside, but I do have a City player.
Wait, oh shit, I missed that. I missed it. Who do you have? You have Zinchenko? Who do you have?
Come on.
You have the Stounge?
You know who I have.
You have Gundo?
You know who I have.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know because it's not Foden.
Come on.
You don't have Jack.
I'll be Jack.
What are you doing?
Let's go. I have Jack.
You think he's just straight in?
Yeah.
I don't think he will be.
I don't think you buy a player for 100 million to bed them in.
I think you do. When you're City,
yeah.
I think anyone you buy is I need you ready for the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Yeah, and he will be because you see the calves and the legs.
The calves are thick.
He's in.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in.
Wow.
I'm starting with him. I want him. I want him forever.
Wow.
He's so good.
I fucking love him.
I know you love him.
But
he's such an incredible player.
In fantasy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's nailed in my team.
Wow. nailed.
He's an incredible player.
You think he's gonna be nailed?
No.
Okay.
I don't care.
So why like him over Mahrez? Just the million?
Yeah, the million's a lot of millions.
It's a lot, but Mahrez also has actual like double-digit goal scoring.
Yeah, that's true. Jack's also like double-digit X better than him as a player, and I think that for Pep that like matters a lot. I feel like Jack could do literally everything, and Mahrez can do like 3 things.
Yeah, and
I feel like Jack's just gonna ball out of control. He's not gonna be doing like vocabulary, spelling bees with encyclopedias. He doesn't know any of that shit. Yeah, doesn't know what those words mean. 8 million. He's just so good.
Wow.
He's so fucking good, dude. I think it's comical and ridiculous how good he is. That he's on City and he's only 8 million. Like this is like a once in a lifetime thing, I think, in FPL.
Yeah,
he could be like a 10-5-11 asset, I think, this year.
I don't disagree. I just don't think from the offset. That's where our difference is. It's not the evaluation of the price or the player or the team. It's that I think with Pep, with Klopp, these players take a long time to like get going and get their role and understand the system and playing with their teammates and stuff. Yeah,
I agree with that, but they're playing like 17-year-olds who I've never heard of who wear number like 99 in the Community Shield.
Doozy or whatever.
Yeah, so it's not like he's sitting there with like, Foden, Kevin, Gundo, like everyone's fit and like ready to go,
Yeah.
So like he played 25 minutes or whatever, and I'm just looking at the team. Raz hasn't played a second yet, right? I mean, I think Raz is going to just start in the Spurs game, but there aren't all these senior fit players who are like know the system and are just like, wait your time, Jack. Like we're ready for you when you're ready. Like I think he's just straight in, and he's so fucking good. It doesn't matter how many like 2s or like 4 not like things Pep does on the sidelines that are going to affect him too much. So an 8 million is just, dude. He's Jack. Come on.
Okay.
Jack's in for me, baby.
I did not expect that.
Jack's in for me, baby.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's really fun because he's so good.
I love him.
I'm ready for my 1 point.
They buy players I love. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready for my 1 point. Spurs.
I'm ready for my Mahrez brace. Nar said, which player that you're not going with is going to piss you off the most when he hauls this weekend?
Tony. I mean, 1,000,000% Tony, 1,000 times yes, Tony. Yeah. If I watch, Friday, first game of the season, if I watch that game and Tony does nothing, I'm going to fucking jerk off for hours afterwards. Hours.
Yeah, it's the Friday game too.
It's the first game.
It could ruin our whole season.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. If he braces, forget it. I'll just delete my team.
New merch. We're just selling Tony voodoo dolls.
Oh my God. I just don't want to live in that world.
Yeah. No, I'm not on Tony also right now, and I'm also extremely worried about the Ings uptick in ownership. He could just brace in any of the 3 games. Any of them.
Yeah, I'm not going to be upset if that happens though, because I understand.
I'm going to be upset because everyone bought him. And I was like,
Yeah, I don't think I will be on that one.
And he's great.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be upset about that. I think Tony's the one for me that I really want to dodge.
I feel like I still might start with Tony, to be honest. So we'll see, I guess.
Okay.
And then Ember said, just talk us through the most controversial guy currently tinkered in and why you picked them over similar options.
Yeah, for me, it's easily the one I just mentioned, Jack.
Yeah, it's Jack.
At 8, you have a lot of other options you could go there. And to me, this is definitely, gambling on a short-term upside, but also, a player that I could imagine having for like 38 weeks. I'm just hoping that it works and that his class just shines through of just playing with, the best. He was fucking playing in the championship a couple of years ago, and he's just one of the best players in the world, and he's going to be playing with similarly like best players in the world around him. I just imagine that it's going to be kind of a silly shit show.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things to adjust is like they talked about it on Double Pivot, but like going for like how much more possession Like, obviously, he's not the focal point of the attack. He's not even the best player on, he's not even the best passer or best anything on City. But the difference in like possession and just amount of like touches that City generate for Zilla is so hard to like compute.
Yeah.
I mean, is it Mahrez or is it like Ben Rama? My team, I guess, is pretty template because it's not that controversial as of right now. I don't think this is where I'll end up, but it's probably either one of them. I mean, Ben Rama is definitely a big punt. I mean, there's not a lot of like 6 millions that I'm like, wow, if he doesn't work out, this is a very easy transfer to get someone else. So it's really risky, I think, and maybe it should be really analyzed. Maybe I don't need to double up with Antonio, but I do, like I said earlier, get the Mahrez vibes of like, he's ready to explode. He's super highly rated. He has, great stats. He had one really weird season in his debut season.
Yeah.
I guess it's him.
I think the one thing with City is that I am concerned about is that they just kind of are stagnant, like off the ground, because they haven't played they haven't had a preseason.
I forget whose question, but I mean, they did start last season slowly until they got going and walked the league. But I mean, they could be a 0-0, a 1-0, just slow and figuring it out. And Kev comes back and but they could also 7-0 Norwich. So, we play for the upside, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The other 6 million to transfer to from Benrahma, not great.
Not great. Okay.
Who are you captaining?
I mean, Mo, come on.
Let's go.
Let's fuck.
Are you going to triple cap?
I might. Yeah, no, I might. Legit might. I've been thinking about it.
I haven't even considered anyone else to cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. Mane would be the other option.
I mean, I'm a vice Trent.
Yeah.
That's like the extent that I've gone.
Triple cap is kind of interesting, kind of fun.
Who else would you cap? Is there anyone else?
Mane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or Trent. I think that fixture is just ridiculous. Norwich are an actual laugh riot. I think that they're like by so many miles and metric tons the worst team in the league.
Well, them or Brentford, I think, probably.
Yeah, I think Brentford are a lot better because they're gonna they have like a plan, a manager, like actual good players. Like Norwich have like really bad players everywhere,
and got worse. Lost their best player.
They got a lot worse. So I don't know. And like I feel like triple cap Mo. Yeah, I mean, could click the button. I have swim class with Damo. I'm not gonna be able to watch like the first half.
Then you probably don't want to do that.
Or is that even more incentive to do it?
No, because you're going to check your phone. Yeah, that's true. You don't really want to
I'm not going to check shit. I don't know. I never want to watch my... Dude, I don't want to watch any games anyway, and I watch them all. It's a nightmare. I could just, clicking buttons is so fun.
I mean, it's really cool to see the like white triple cap thing.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's like very powerful.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about that on Thursday.
There's a lot that we just potted for about an hour and a half. There's a lot more to talk about and a lot more tinkers to go on Thursday. But do you feel pretty okay, or do you feel just as bad as when we started?
I think that like the big questions I have, I mean, the front three haven't moved. Midfield, I feel like the big questions for me is 4 or 5 goalkeeper. No idea. I have absolutely no idea where I'm going to land there. And then I think I have Ayling and White right now, and I'm not sure if that's like the right thing to do.
Right.
I think I need to think about that a little bit more if I'm going to go with Tsimikas and Amartey.
Right.
I think that I need to think about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, White we talked about in the last pod, but it's like Brentford, Chelsea, City, no Partey.
Yeah.
It seems really bad to me. So
maybe like I do Veltman.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I even, double Brighton and I don't have either White or Ayling. I don't know. I have to think more about like how I want that to look for the first month.
Yeah.
I think those are the big questions though. But otherwise, I mean, I think my front 7 are done. I mean, Gilmore, I'm still going to think about Brownhill. I might play around a little bit more, but I think my front 7 are done, dude.
I mean, what's Josh Brownhill got on fucking Billy Gilmore?
Well, he doesn't look like he's an inbred hick, so he has that going for him.
I guess he does have that going for him.
What about you?
Questions I still have?
Yeah.
I haven't stopped thinking about Mane for like a week. He just looks so good.
Yeah.
Liverpool feels so safe to me with Norwich, Burnley, Leeds, 3 out of the first 4, even Palace, Brentford after also. And and the nailedness, that value of him starting all of those games, no question, instead of Jota or something like that. So I'm definitely thinking about that. I'm still not sure about Benrahma. I feel pretty good otherwise. I mean, tinkering. I was tinkering and taking some notes like while we were talking. I put Bamford back in. I think it makes sense. And I did Mane to Mahrez, and I'll stick Tsimikas in and see how that feels. I think you made compelling cases. I could even go up to Benrahma, up to Wilf. I believe in Pod Partner. I trust you. I don't listen to any FPL shit. I don't read any FPL shit. I don't care about anyone else's opinions.
Wow.
So when you're fucking popping off about like Wilf and Bamf and shit, I listen. Maybe
means a lot.
Maybe
it might be bullshit though, so I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe I'll spend some time, since it's my only chance for the rest of the season, to look at anyone else's FPL opinions on Tuesday, Wednesday, and come in Thursday with like, oh, they brought up this interesting point, but maybe not. We'll see. So that's where I'm at. Let me slap asses. We got a lot of signups. Appreciate the signups. Thank you very much. Stephen Parkes, Darpin, Malkin, Nick A, Lasse Flotten, Gamersvik, Vemun, Falstad, Breivik, Vincent Lau, Tom Knox, Stephen Netuka, Dan Balance, Owen O'Brien.
Are you speaking English?
I mean, clearly not. They're definitely fucking Slavs or something.
Jesus
Norwegian
Christ.
Probably, but they're back to back. I don't know. Owen O'Brien, Harry Quinn, Josh, Anthony Tengoro, Tom Gribble, Captain Tact, Matt, Kenneth K, Andrew Chaplin, Hugh Reese. Fucking slept that ass.
That was out of control.
Yeah,
it sounded like vampires or something. It's like Dracula.
It's back
like
to back. It's Lasse Flotten Gamersvik and Vemund Volstad Breivik.
Yeah,
so you say that 10 times fast.
That's trouble for the human race.
And a lot of fucking O's with lines through it and other vowels that I don't know how to pronounce. So, man, any last words, brother?
See you tomorrow.
Check us out at FMLPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLPL Sports page on /FMLPL. Subscribe, rate, review, cheers!